My name is Margaret Ann Windsor. My real name is, I was kidnapped in 41 and brought to the United States to Moulton, Alabama, and given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers, is my married name, Childers. Peggy was a twin to Carl, and both twins were killed by their mother, um, who was unwed at the time, Lina Dempsey. I was taken there and given her name, and I grew up being told that that was my mother, who I always knew something was wrong, you know. She was a horrible person, but I wanted to say other things here. I've told about mind control murders, programming people to kill, or appear to have committed suicide, etc. And they were done in patterns, just like Larry Flint was shot when I was doing the book in Lawrenceville, Georgia, and I'm in Marietta, Georgia, about 40 miles away. And the person was programmed to shoot Mr. Flint in Lawrenceville and kill his attorney. The reason I'm showing you this, he says in this endorsement that he did in April of '84 that I knew who was responsible for his shooting, and I was flown up there to get his help in a political campaign in October of '83, when Larry McDonald, the U.S. congressman who was also a doctor I had written about in a medical malpractice book involving mind control, his plane went down, and I became a candidate and was flown to Flint's for political help. My father, let me go back to this, and then I want to get into the recent, over the weekend, the patterns. It's hard to tell someone, and they don't want to believe about mind control because it's invisible, for one thing. It's one thing to watch a hypnotist at work and see his subject and the results of what he tells the subject to do. The person can see it. But in mind control that's done by the agencies now, it's not just the like MK Ultra or the feds or it can be done by smaller agencies nowadays, and it's much easier to do. At one time, you could do it with a ham set. Teach them the Morse code at a low level, and they don't even know they've been hit with mind control. So people are afraid of it. If you didn't do it in patterns, if someone, agency or whoever, how would you prove it? And how would you know how many have ever been done anyway? So back to this, I put it on Facebook. I've taken it when I found out my real name, did the book. I took all this to the media. I've been on Facebook, and I put it on YouTube. The point is, the people that kidnapped me, my own Uncle George VI, who is illegal, by the way, helped take down his own brother, and a double imposter, which he used to marry Wallace Simpson. My father, Edward VIII, was legally wed to Georgia O'Keeffe's sister, Claudia Ruth O'Keeffe Windsor, American, Catholic, Irish. I mean, they were legally wed, so how could all of this have gone untold, even when I found out about it and told it? But some of the mind control murders involved, this is later, not the ones I wrote about in '77. And by the way, I had antifreeze put in me April the 1st of '80, so the book never got published. Instead, I was carried across the state line with brain damage, and it was hideous, and worked for the district attorney, Fred Simpson, and lived at Warren House Apartments. So you're getting the Simpson Wallace Simpson was supposed to marry my father, really a double, and the takedown of my father in a 99-year seal. And this is Uncle George, the movie, the King's Speech, that made him out to be a hero. He's a traitor, a killer, a fraud. And this is Roosevelt, the Kennedys, who was ambassador then, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers. They control the media, the press, and everything else. Now they're the New World Order, which Elizabeth and Charles are a part of. So I'm getting away from this weekend and what happened, but I wanted to show this too. This was Timothy McVeigh, who told everybody that he had a chip put up him by the military. And, of course, he died for the bombing in Oklahoma City, and Terry Nichols is still in prison. He's a victim. You can't be a bigger victim than one who's programmed, just like, and that's, by the way, this photo shows William, and they're saying here, a spokesman from Buckingham Palace said, William, he's not the legal heir to the British throne, I'll say that's, had a microchip implanted somewhere in his anatomy to discourage would-be kidnappers. Well, that's quite quaint, since his great-grandfather, George VI, and his grandmother, Elizabeth, were the ones that helped do it and continue it through Elizabeth and her illegal, they're illegal, that's all I can say. And they've spent my money and my hell, and the British, they've lived off the British, and British have died. She's a traitor and should be prosecuted, the whole bunch of them. But I'm getting away from it. I thought that was quite something, though, to keep him from being kidnapped when he named his baby, William, he and Kate, after George VI, his great-grandfather that had kidnapped me. So it's okay to kidnap me and steal me blind, right? Put me over here. This is another one that's mind control and has nothing to do with mental illness, and that's the Century 16 in Aurora, Colorado, and James Holmes. He's in a mental institution being fed psychotic drugs. This is the Fort Hood shooter who was next door here at Georgia Tech. I live in Roanoke, if you call it living. And how you prevent another Fort Hood shooting is you tell about mind control. You don't hide it anymore. But also remember that next door in the same place he went to college and finished at Virginia Tech is where the 33 shootings happened in April the 16th of 07. And there's a lot more that happened there, but that's two that people should think and take notice. Hey, what's really going on in all this? The Tucson, Arizona shootings, the Sandy Hook, etc. But they were done in patterns, and this is what I really meant to say, and I'm going to stop because anyway, this is what I meant to say with this tape. Over the weekend, and you're not going to have the database and people dismiss it. Really, they're afraid of it and they can't visualize it, so they let it go. The Alabama Crimson Tide, and remember, you don't have my database. That doesn't mean that you don't know that it's happening. You got to find something strange in all these, and some of them haven't even been told. But Alabama Crimson Tide, that last play at the end of it that gave the game to Auburn, ask yourself about that one, if mind control was used in that one. I'm not going to go any further on it. I've got enough going bad and wrong for me. But then this weekend also was, and when I laugh, it's because this whole thing is so ludicrous. The pain and suffering and the fact it's been allowed to go on. But Paul Walker out in San Clarita, California, the wreck there, the auto crash that killed him and his friend. And then this weekend also was the Glasgow, Scotland, the police helicopter that crashed into the top of the pub there and killed many people there. And this is the one that I didn't connect because I thought it was a little much that it had to be It couldn't be a coincidence. It had to be one of the mind control murders. But I really didn't see the patterns, so I kind of didn't pay attention that much, and just, you know, till today when they started saying that the conductor's name was Rockefeller, and that speed was to blame, and that he said he had tried to apply the brakes, and so forth and so on. So the Rockefeller name has come into play there as, I don't know if he'll be made out to be the villain or what, but this focused on, okay? But I'll go ahead and say it, that definitely is one of the mind control was used on it. So I'm going to let it go and try to upload this.